So today's the day, huh? Today's the day that we are
Today's the
kill
day, dude.
Calendly. Came for your lunch,
Kill,
stole it all.
kill
All
Calendly.
right. Well, let's get an update real quick because I know I saw a working demo of something a little bit of time ago, but where we at? What's left to do? And I'm stoked to ship this thing.
Yeah, so if you saw the first two parts, right? Part one, we did like a high level plan in Claude of what we wanted, the features we wanted, right? I think one of the key things to quote unquote killing a SaaS product is only taking the stuff that you want and kind of not necessarily integrating the things you don't need. That's a surefire way to make your product kind of bloated. So we had made a decision that we wanted booking links, we wanted team, so we wanted to be able to add both of us to booking links. We wanted Google Calendar integrations, and we wanted the ability to set a schedule per booking link, so each booking link could have its own schedule, and then a contacts list, right, to save the contacts and to do workflows. So it would send emails either before or after over a specified time period, and those workflows could be attached to the scheduling links. Second episode was us turning that into a plan in Claude Code, 8-step phases. So I'll share my screen and kind of remind everybody where we were at and kind of show you guys. Let me share my screen right now because I could show
Also,
that.
give me a little bit of an update. If we can't kill a SaaS product in 3 episodes or less, you're probably better off buying it off the shelf. Truly, that's kind of the thing. If you're going to spend hundreds of hours trying to so give me a little bit of an idea. How many hours do you think this took truly?
So I just committed this. Let's just take a look. In truth, I want to say maybe a half a day at the most. Maybe and that's really with like I was doing this it's hard to say because I'm doing this in addition to my regular
Sure,
work.
but we're not
And so
talking
if you
about this
look
is
right,
100 hours of labor.
no, this is if I sat down for one whole day, this could be and really focused, this could have been done. Here's the cool thing about this particular build is we started off with this idea, right? We did our init, right? And we started with this simple convention here. And I don't know if you guys, can you see
You could
this?
zoom a little bit, yeah.
TDD first. Every feature starts with a failing test derives from acceptance criteria. Write the test, watch it fail, implement the minimum code to pass, then refactor. This was a new little line that I added to my Claude MD. I usually like it to write tests, but very rarely did I kind of like, I specified right from the beginning here, TDD for each phase. And when it built out its plan, it was really, really great because it actually created the TDD cycles. So you see these cycle 1, cycle 2, cycle 3, cycle 4, cycle 5, cycle 6, cycle 7. Each had a cycle of, it would write a bunch of failing tests. And I was able to review this and kind of decide like, okay, this is what I like. This is, and let me tell you, in terms of like one-shotting, like after every phase, I would test everything that it built because I don't like to get too far along without testing it. Otherwise, you end up in a weird place where there's things that are breaking that depend on other things. So at every step here, I would do a quick, okay, does this work? Does this work? The only thing I didn't do that for was Google Calendar because I didn't want to set up the Google, I have to set up some tokens and stuff. And if you're going to fork this, you'll do that. But we don't have to test that today. I'll test that after this. So that's why I say at the end of the day, like the actual time that if I had just like start to finish said phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, phase 5, phase 6, phase 7, phase 8, and did not test, just let it run through, this entire thing probably took a total of an hour of AI time, in truth. But I like to check. I like to test things. I check mobile, desktop, that kind of thing, right? Just to make sure, right? I want to make sure that we're doing the right thing. And the most common things that it gets wrong is it was building like a UI kit. So if we like look at our views, I had specifically wanted it to build a little like UI kit of different like form fields, for example, in here. It would like forget to use that. And I'd be like, well, you're not using it. And it would just quickly correct it. So what I did was I went through all the phases. It did all of these things, and it has a final plan MD that kind of gives like a overall plan of the whole jam. But in each step, I can see what it did and didn't do. For final number 8, this production config, testing, Kamal deploy, backup cron jobs, things like. I did not implement this. This is for you to decide. Like, so this will be, for me when it comes to building these open source. I'm here to build the code, the Rails code base. In terms of how you want to deploy this, you want to deploy this with Kamal, you want to do this with KH, you want to do this in fly.io, which is what we would probably end up doing. I'm going to leave that to the consumer to modify. That's the beauty of this, right? You decide on your own production deployment, and what SMTP server you want to do, all of that. For right now, though, we've got ourselves rocking with SQLite for the database. So, and if you want to replace that with Postgres, you're more than welcome to. It should be fairly easy. But I went with SQLite because this is for our organization, just me and you. It doesn't need like global level distribution across many machines or anything like that. We're not building Calendly as a SaaS. We're building you a standalone version. It's got our jobs. It's got booking management. It's got all the good things. Let's jump into the app because that's kind of going to be more interesting here. This is the dashboard. Let me move this little thing out of the way here. You could see right here, I've got some the dashboard. We've got upcoming bookings because I made some bookings. Confirmed. I can view the booking. Back to bookings. I got some schedule links in here. I made a test link. Let's show you a new schedule link. So let's just call this test link 3. I could call this, my super special meeting. Duration, what do we want? An hour. We could do a video link or a physical address. Let's just do like a video link. Zoom, whatever, bunch of letters, whatever it's going to end up being. Scheduling rules, Eastern time. It's detecting my time zone from where I am right now. So if you're in Pacific time, this would update. A buffer between meetings. I want 15 minutes between meetings. I don't want more than 3 bookings per day. And I only want this to go up to 60 days into the future. And then optionally assign an email workflow to automate. So now I have a workflow, but let's not add one right now. And then I can include team members for this schedule link. So there's me always included, but it's odd. This is like a little bit grayed out. So this is one thing that I was noticing that I think we have to do a quick correction.
So here's the
here,
question.
Right? So I'm kind of like looking.
How would I add an email workflow? I see you can assign it, but how would I add an email workflow and how would I add a team member to this meeting?
Yeah, so let's create the schedule link first, right? Let's go to workflows. You see we have a workflow here. Let me create a new workflow. Let's do a test third workflow. Create a workflow. Let's say it's 30 minutes before meeting. Send to invitee, host, or all. Let's do all. Now we have some variables, right? So you could do reminder. You have a meeting name, whatever. Hey, you could do an invitee name. So like, let's say I wanted to decide, come to my super awesome meeting at meeting time.
I like that it did the variable reference table at the bottom.
Yes, you could see exactly how to do this. Now, you'll already notice that like Calendly does some nice things. They've got like
templates,
a little editor in here that that lets you do a little bit more. Again, we're not looking, and then I can add this step, and then I can add another step. I could do 60 minutes after meeting, send to invitee. Thanks, invitee name.
So in this body section, this is all markdown, right? So if I wanted to include a link or something else, some styling or whatever, a list form, like I could just do markdown in that body field.
That's an interesting. I did not officially write a test for that, but this is a great example of you bring up a product requirement. I could normally check the code. Let's just clear here. I'm just going to come back, go into plan mode in the workflows section in the body of the email. Does this support markdown? So I can add links
and styling, formatting,
and potentially formatting. I'm going to guess no. I think it's probably just going to do paragraphs because email's a little tricky especially with styling. But let's just see what it says because this is a great example of like, let it do its thing. So again, I can like add the step. Now you can see that there's these steps. If I go to my schedule links and go back to schedule link 3, I can now edit it,
And that'll be like
and go down here
sure.
and choose and test the third workflow, update schedule link. And then I can also manage the availability here, Monday through Sunday, and then we could just check this on like mobile, just kind of go through these. I don't love this interface for time. I was just going to bring that up, but like this, like scrolling through like every, so this is something I probably will change, but let's just say Monday, 9:30 to 5 p.m. Add it. And then I can add other windows too. So let's just say on Tuesdays, I'm only available from 7:30 a.m. to like 9 a.m. And then I'm also available after, let's just test like a gap. Let's say 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. or something like that. 4 p.m. That's fine. Add that. All right. So now I have this. I can also copy from a link. So I can actually copy from another scheduling link and then decide to replace existing or merge. So I can like if I want to copy from SFN and I want to merge it, copy availability, it'll merge it all in. Now, what's interesting is I actually don't, that didn't seem to work actually. That's a great example of something that didn't seem to work. So let's just take a look again at schedule links. What should it have done? Let's manage availability. It overlapped. So it probably did work. I was hoping that I put it later in the week so that it didn't. Actually, I didn't check. Yeah, it probably managed availability. Yeah, it did. 9:30 to 5. It was, we were already, it merged it. It was already covered. But let's just try that again. Let's go to schedule links. Let's go to test link 2. Did I manage availability? I added a Wednesday. This is kind of cool. So let's see how that behaves, if that behaves as we expected. Manage availability on test link 3, copy from link, test link 2, merge. Yeah, bingo, brought it in from Wednesday. So it added the time from Wednesday, and then I can go back. So pretty nice. It shows my availability in here. Now the cool thing is if I copy this bookie link, let's just open a new incognito window. So now let's just pretend I'm a booker. If I go to Wednesday, no available times, right? We don't have any available times. I'm sorry, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But let's go to we've got 7:30 a.m. all the way till 3 p.m. It looks like it's showing. Look at that, 9:30 to 5. That's not right. Oh no, that's Tuesday. No, you're right. Tuesday, 7:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. That is correct. And then 1 p.m. all the way till 3. Yeah, because these are 1 hour meetings. I can't book at 4. Yes, this is correct. I'm wrong. And then Wednesday, the same thing, 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. Right? That's correct because I can't book at 4 for a 1 hour meeting. So that would be correct. If I go to Monday, same thing, 9:30 all the way till 4. Yep. So that's pretty cool as a booking side deal. Let's just go back over here. Hang on. Do its thing. I want it to be able to.
I also want to know a little bit more about the email notification that you're doing from your workflow. Is that like, what email is that coming from? Like, is that like a SendGrid integration? Is that using our Gmail? And then is that also including something familiar like our signature, or like what does that look like? It will not.
So let's just do like a 10:30 a.m. Let's just book John Doe, email Mike plus John Doe at. I installed something called these are some notes. Booking confirmed. So this is not hooked up to the actual email. I did install something called Letter Opener that would show the emails that are going out that are immediate. This is not going to send anything. Right, booking confirmed. Like, so this is not. This is something that I want to just double check on, because I do kind of want to see the email as it is. Let's just see here. So here it does not support Markdown. Here's what happens today: input plain text area, raw text in storage, simple format in the HTML, which converts to, it wraps things in paragraph tags and does not parse Markdown, Linkify URLs or any. My thinking. We could do Markdown. We could just auto-link URLs, which is kind of a nice feature instead, or no just asking. I kind of like the idea of just the auto link and not having people do all of this,
don't think it's
but
I
it
don't think it's
isn't.
super necessary. I do think that, especially for our use case, to be able to link out is the minimum. It's like all I need.
Let's support Markdown. Let's just support Markdown. Like, listen, we spent what? How much time on this? You know what I mean? Like, and I think Markdown is fine to support. Let's add that because I do want that. The other thing that I would like, which you kind of bring up here, is, I wanted to install something, and I don't think that this wouldn't have sent an email to me personally yet, but I do actually would love to be able to see like the booking confirmation email. Like that could be, that's another interesting feature, is like adding a signature. What I think is you're just going to get a booking confirmation email like this, from like, if I go over to bookings, I can see now my booking. I can view it here, when it is, where it is, all that stuff. I can cancel this. So we could try and do that too. Like we could cancel that booking.
Well,
Booking
does it
canceled.
record the meeting block on your calendar? And do you get an email as the booker that a meeting is?
If you had the Google Calendar integration in, yes. So in order for us to do this, I have to get us tokens from Google to do this. So Calendly has this. They have like a Google app token right in the back end. So if you're going to deploy this yourself, you'll have to get a Google Cloud Platform token. You'll install that in the encrypted credentials, and then you'll get a calendar link. For users, there'll be a .ico file. That's the universal calendar booking, because not everybody uses Google Calendar. So you will get a .ico file. Google typically will just pick this up and turn it into a meeting. Same thing with like Outlook 365. So there's like an open format to handle with this, which I would probably, which again, we want to test with our email to see if those are actually coming through. Let's let it finish the Markdown support thing. The other thing is when I go to settings and I invite teammates, if I want to add Justin.Abrams at causeofakind.com, email sent to you. See, you're still pending. So back into like the team section. The one thing I'm noticing is letter opener that should have showed me the email that goes to you. My guess, the reason why it didn't is because it's being delivered later. I just know this from working with Rails. And then here, this is Connect Google Calendar. Authorization blocked, you can see right here. We need to have it. Our app is not authorized to do this. You and I, when we deploy, are going to generate this key. You are going to use this as an open source code base. You'll generate this key. There'll be instructions in the README to do that. And you'll connect, because I don't want to use my account and pay for all the connections. So that's the beauty of this. I'm not trying, again, if you're building a SaaS, you got to account for millions of freaking Google Calendar connections and all the things you got to do with that. These are the contacts. So you could see that thing you asked for, which was who set through. I could leave notes about a contact. One thing you'll notice here, though, is there's no padding in this. This is obviously not using my, if I go back to the booking bit here, if I go back to booking and I pick a time, yeah, these notes have padding. You see how it's not this. So this is one of those things that I notice. AI tends to do this. It'll forget things like that. Like this is using our input styles. This didn't. So I will typically remind it, like, and one cool thing you can do with Claude now is I can actually just take a quick screenshot of this and say like, hey, the booking text area doesn't use our. So this wrote up a plan for the Markdown, which is great. Workflow, right? Use the red carpet gem, which is what I would use. I think that's perfectly fine. Now it's going to ask these three things. This is cool Claude Code stuff that's new, right? Yes, clear context and auto accept edits. This is a new feature of Claude Code, which is, you used to just show you this, yes, auto accept edits, which all of the planning would get stuck up in context. But now that I have a plan, I can actually clear all of the chat history and auto accept the edits and go forward with it. Or I can auto accept. The cool thing about this is I think I still have a lot of context, and it probably has some context up here that I want it to just keep. Otherwise, it's going to search all that again. So this is worth you getting a little bit familiar with, which is think about the idea of if it didn't use a lot of context to plan, just auto accept the edits instead of the clear context. If it did a lot of planning, like for our big plan here, I definitely am clearing context and starting fresh, but I don't think I'm going to get any context rot on this one. So I'm going to kind of let that run forward. The other thing that I can do is I can split this now and run another instance of Claude Code, put it in planning mode, and quickly say, hey, on the, what do we call this one? This is the contacts page, our text area doesn't appear to use our UI kit. And then I'm going to paste that image in there and let it see. I'm going to run this stuff at the same time. So this is like as we're doing it, because this is to save me time. I can still view bookings from the contacts also, which is really cool. So I could see their booking history. I really like that. The save me a note. Let's just see something here. It does save the note, so that's cool that I can do that and save it. I can clear it. So it's just kind of like a one. Now, I don't know if you wanted to see notes as like a list. For me, it's kind of fine to just keep like a little note. Like I don't really do the notes thing anyway, so I wouldn't add that.
I'm not sure what the notes are used for if it's not to specific booking history. Like what this is just general notes on the contact. So if I want,
yeah, like met this guy at
just like so like a light CRM solution.
Yeah, nothing crazy.
Now, one step higher from that is like, how would I export a list of contacts, first name, last name, email, whatever else?
Hang on, I'm just reading the plan here. It's just, it's rendering now it's going to use our form field. So I'm going to have it do that. What were you saying?
If one step higher, so like back to your contact records, how would I do a little bit of an export if I wanted to like take this list and put it into, let's say, a MailChimp newsletter or something like that?
I don't actually have that feature is not here, so we could do that. Let's the search works, but once again, not using our UI kit. I could tell already. And let's add the export feature.
Yep.
Also on the contacts list page, the search bar appears to not use the UI kit. And let's do that. Once again, I'll like expand. Let's expand this because we got a lot of stuff cooking now. Let's split it again. Some people use work trees for this type of stuff. I don't know. This is just how I do it. So the markdown support should now be added. That's great. We can actually just double check that, and you could see that it added markdown renderer in here, workflow for the mailer. I want to ask that one question. One other question. Is I want to be able to see some test emails. We have letter opener installed, but it doesn't trigger when booking or inviting, etc. Perhaps we also could add a preview pane to the workflow steps so you can see what a possible email would look like. Let's take a look at that. Let's do this one. Cool. The search bar will now visually match. Let's just refresh here. Yep, there it goes. That's exactly what we wanted. Just kind of going through. These look right. The booking links, strictly from nowhere. Filter, there's nothing for strictly from nowhere. Test link 2, filter. View schedule links. These are schedule links, workflows, dashboard. Everything else kind of appears to be correct in here. Updated, the search input matches. Okay, so this one looks good. I can have it just commit this too. Like it'll just commit these changes because this looks right to me. So it's cool that it'll commit these changes. This is one thing that's nice. Like for me, it's hard. Like I'd have to cherry pick the things that we're working on, that kind of stuff. This automatically did it for you, so it's kind of nice. What was the other thing? What were you? Yes.
Contact X.
On the contacts page, can we add an export
I don't even know if it needs to be export. Maybe it's just like copy the table or something like that. Whatever you think the simplest version is, but export to CSV or TXT file and parse in Excel.
CSV is easy. That's what I would rock with. I think that's fine. Good findings, 2 separate issues here. It's correctly configured, but the likely culprit is solid queue. Yeah, is not loaded globally. That's exactly right. That's what I figured. No queue workers deliver later. Jobs are getting in queued but never executed, so no emails ever reach the letter opener. That's exactly what I expected for that. But I think the preview pane is kind of a nice thing because then we could just see our markdown as it would be parsed, and then we can, again, you and I are going to deploy this and end-to-end test after deployment, and I'm sure we'll iron out some stuff when we do that. And yeah, but it is, as you could see, it's all pretty much there. A lot of the things that we need to configure, like the Google Calendar connection and things, are going to be specific to you, so we'll add instructions to that. But in terms of the design, like you could take a look in the, let's just take a look at like mobile view. It's kind of nice. You know, you could see your workflows. You could view your workflows. Got a little bit of an overhang up here. Look at that. So mobile view on, let's do that. Mobile view on workflows. Header is a little wacky. Let's fix that. This one, we're just ready to go here. Adding an export. It's going to add a contacts controller, send CSV. It's going to do controller test. Let's let that run. For the letter opener issue, would you like to switch to letter opener web? It mets a web UI at letter opener in your browser so you can browse all sent emails without needing pop-up tabs. Or keep letter. Yeah, I like that. This is exactly what I want. For the workflow step preview, what kind of preview do you want? Inline live preview, a preview pane next to that renders your markdown with a sample interpolated values, preview button action, a button on save workflow steps that renders a full email preview with sample booking data, or both? What do you think? I kind of feel like the inline line preview is more complicated, but it might be a nice thing to have.
I don't want some random sample.
What do you mean you don't want some random sample?
Isn't that one of the options? It's just going to give you a random sample text?
I mean, you do need that for the invitee name, right? You're building a workflow.
That's what it means.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
That's what it means. Okay.
Yeah, I kind of like the inline live. I don't like the inline live. I feel like we should just do a preview button. I think that's much simpler. Should I also add Rails mailer previews for all mailers? These are accessible at Rails. I think so. I'd like to see what they look like. I think that would be helpful. And we can always... But now we'll have like a web way to see that. We've also already added the CSV export. And I did say, let me just clear this. And then I'm going to do this plan. We have some mobile issues on the workflow page. See the image. Let it work on that. Let's go back up here. Let's knock this off for a second so we can see what's going on. So we're going to contacts, export to CSV. Ooh, we got a little... I think I have to bundle install, actually. Might be the reason. Contacts, export. Nope, same error. Oh, it's still working on this. Never mind. Got this error. See, I lost track of my panes. This is where it starts to get a little crazy. Restart the Rails server. Duh. Let's restart. Let's go back to contacts, export. Bingo. Done. CSV. Look at that.
Great. It's awesome.
Thanks. See, I was wrong, not Claude. Just had to restart the server. Cool. Commit this. I'm into it.
And it's working on those mobile styling changes. I think we're pretty baked, dude. Like, I think you'll do a little bit of tune-up. I think other folks may find some stuff in the open source project. You could do a little tune-up on your own, or change the styling, change the look of it, like whatever you want to do for somebody else. That's like totally fine. And I think you wrapped it up, dude. Managed to kill Calendly in what, 3 hours total?
Like I said, if this was in a full day, maybe 1 to 2 days, you could have something baked out. I just wanted to show you guys one more example. It wasn't showing it before, but you see how it says, yes, clear context, 15% used? It's letting me know how much context I've used. Why it didn't show it before is is not clear to me, but I like when it shows it because now I know, okay, it only used 15%. It figured out that there's an issue here. I'll clear context in this case, but with 15% used, I may just keep going. I may not clear context, but it's worth seeing that. I'll just show you guys that.
We can like keep banging on this and find little features and things that we want to iron out. I think that all works well, but for the point, I think you'll release this as open source. You'll have a really nice README file for anybody that wants to fork this or go live with their preferred calendar support or set up Gmail or whatever they want to do. Yeah, cool. Nice mobile change.
Yeah. It's not terrible. It's not like, I may still want to make some updates to this design, but it's working.
Rock on, dude. Killed Calendly in 3 episodes in less than 3 hours. And forward to extraordinary, as I like to say, right?
My man.
Nice job. See you on the other side.
Peace.
All right.